Wow.
What's up, everyone? It is the man, it is the myth, it is the legend, it is Baseball Profondo. I am here today with another lesson in class. How's everyone doing and shit? Anyway, first, before we get started, I gotta start with an intro and stuff. But I'm sure we remember when we were in school. I'm sure we remember when we were in middle school and we were in high school. And now we see our classmates all grown up. Hopefully everyone lived and stayed out of jail. And I know for sure, like on mine, nobody really got famous, but I know one baseball player that I grew up with that made it actually in the National League, in the MLB. Yeah, whatever. I don't really watch baseball like that. My favorite team is, the Twins, because I'm from, Minneapolis, whatever. The Twin Cities. But anyway, you remember we were in class and like I always told you guys, I'm not really an ugly person. I got a high sex appeal. So I never been called ugly a day in my life. But like familiar, like most guys that were popular and most guys that were kind of jocks in high school before they graduated. We were, in middle school, we were usually told that we usually weren't a girl's type. You know what I'm saying? And you never understand that when you're growing up. Because you don't fully understand women until you're 28 or 29. You know what I'm saying? But usually their type is what most women are put in front of to look at as a father figure. Whether it's a stepfather or whether it's their real father. But anyway, the subject in class is most of the time a woman's type is equal to a man trying to turn a hoe into a housewife. So anyway, most women, they go for the guy that they see either on TV, or either like Paul Walker, like on the Fast and the Furious, but they want like the real thing. But see, they grow up in front of a TV screen, you know what I'm saying? And most of the time, like the women I grew up around don't really have a father or either a strong father figure around them to tell them about life and tell them that goes to work, that does the right thing, that stays out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't have tattoos and trying to get fast money. You know what I'm saying? You'll make 100 one year, but if they catch you the next year, you got to go sit down for like 10 to 15 years. Yeah, men like that. So women grow up with men like this, and unfortunately in America, on the West, like the United States, whatever that shit's called over there, Europe. The United Kingdom, yeah. So all the Western areas, West Indies and shit. So what they see on TV is the shoot 'em up, bang bang guy most of their life. So they don't really know like what a real man looks like, So they'll it usually starts with, if you really look at girls. What I'm saying for short is, when you usually look at girls' baby daddies, they usually mimic the guys that are on TV. They have the tattoos, they have the long rap sheet, they have the Jordans, and there's a reason for that, you know what I'm saying? Because, due to government hindrance, which I like to call it, not government assistance, women don't really know most women don't grow up with a real father in the house, so they don't know what a real man looks like. So it's not really their fault, but women don't dig the surface. You know what I'm saying? Like men do. So what they see is what they get. So if they see a man with the car, they see a man with the jewelry, they see the man with the Jordans, and they never ask, yo, how'd you get this? You know what I'm saying? They just go along with it. And in the long run, he might make $100,000 next year. He may make $100,000 this year or $200,000, but he got to go sit down, and then what the cops do, they go ahead and just take that shit out of your bank account. You know what I'm saying? So that's why women always got to make sure that they always check their man out and make sure what he's doing is legal and he doesn't have to go sit down, because then that'll put a fucking roadblock in the middle of life. But anyway, most men, it's kind of equivalent too. Women that get these bad guys, they always want to try to be the ones to turn their lives around. It's kind of like women put a challenge in front of themselves to change this guy and get him she basically tries to change his path in life and get him to follow her lead, but she forgets that's the reason she got with him, because he was kind of dominant and that's kind of why you submitted and, gave it up to him, because he showed, strong male traits. In your opinion, what you're raised off of, you know what I'm saying? And due to that, that's why most women, kind of end up by themselves, single moms sometimes. But it's not their fault, because their upbringing, they never had like a strong man in front of them, like a real man that goes to work, stays out of trouble, doesn't do drugs. How when men cheat, that's it. Like when the woman's pregnant, like 1 to 2 years, and that's it. And then like after that, she's gonna go ahead and go about her business, and it's gonna be easy for her to cheat. And then like after that, the kid got to kind of grow up with a stepfather. So the stepfather may not be too different, or may be actually worse than the real dad ever was. And due to over years, when the girl grows up with that, that's what she accepts as normal. You know what I'm saying? That's a normal guy. Like, this is why you always ask yourself, like, why do women always get with a guy that beats them, but they don't want a guy that doesn't? Because see, what she grew up with, she grew up around a man that used to beat her mom, saying, and that was normal for her. Over time, that became trauma for her. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she's used to. That's why, like, they don't want the nice guy that's going to do the right thing for them until the very ending. Until they're like at 45 or 35, I'll say. You know what I'm saying? And they done went through all that. That's why, like, most of the time the guy the second guy's a better guy for her, and he isn't as violent, and he does the right thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's not her fault, because what she grew up around, that's what she has to accept as normal. So basically, there should never be no judgment passed on her. You know what I'm saying? But like, kind of like in reverse, a man that does that is kind of looked at as a simp if he brings because like a hoe and a bad boy got the same traits. So that's why I compared it to. You know what I'm saying? If you kind of look at it. But that's why they have bad upbringing. They usually get along because they pretty much have the same upbringing. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why, like, I don't really blame those Muslims and those Hindus that do arranged marriages sometimes, because the father picked them. You know what I'm saying? The father always picks, because that's just a part of their culture and tradition. So that's why I don't blame them for how they do things, but that's the eastern side of the world. This is the western side of the world. But anyway, my conclusion is, for women, even when like it doesn't work out with the guy, I think that women should still keep the man around, because at least the kids will like know what a manly figure is. Because nowadays we're like in times where girls are kind of getting with other girls, and strangely they have kids and they put them in the middle of this, and this could cause some type of like mental trauma when they grow up. Saying they'll think this is normal for a girl to be with a girl. So you got to show them that no, a guy needs to be with a girl. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how it is. We're like the yin yang sign, the white and black sign. And for men got to stop simping. Men got to go be with normal girls. You got to quit going with these girls with their asses out and their titties out and doing the plastic surgery and going under the knives. Because I'm sorry, you guys, I hate to tell men this. It doesn't matter how much you love her. Sometimes she likes to be out in that street. She likes to be out on those drugs, and she likes the fast money of it all. And I'm sorry, you cannot slow her down. But anyway, yo, it's Based Off Profound. It was nice chilling with y'all, talking to y'all. But I'm loving that you guys liking my stuff. I'm loving that you guys are following me. Like me on Instagram, like me on Facebook, like me on YouTube. I tried with Twitter, but it's going to take a minute. I mean, whatever, Elon is tripping, and he's talking about we got to pay to put that shit up. So I got to wait till I get to that level. But anyway, God bless. Peace.